Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to SAFRL. For Tier 1 here in Japan. Circuit everyone enjoys. Circuit some will fear. See, we have a rather small field here this evening, so good opportunity for everyone in that lineup to get a good handful of points. Actually, we've got the 2 RBs, just the 1 Alpine, 1 Ferrari, 1 Mercedes, 1 McLaren, 1 Williams, and then the pair of Aston Martins. So just 2 teams with both their cars out there on track. Good opportunity for both those teams to gain a large advantage in the constructors if they can finish that way. Both in the top 10. You get an opportunity to race in a field this small, you've got to make the most of it. The last thing you want to do is be the one making the field even smaller. There is your track map of Suzuka on the bottom right. The only circuit on the F1 calendar with the figure of 8 configuration, meaning it crosses over itself. There we go. See the McLaren just going under the bridge. Of course, in its original proposed layout, it would have had 3 flyover sections. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever you decide, that layout was rejected and never built. Already lots of drivers out on their out laps. Already some of those drivers starting their quick laps. One of those drivers is Tiago Maestro in the Williams. And there's such a good chance for everybody to get points tonight, big points. But I was losing my mind for a second there, but I'm not. Tiago Maestro is out on the medium tyre. Just, why not? Waste Pirelli's rubber. This is Andre starting his quick lap. Turn 1 with a difference here at Suzuka. You need so much commitment. Track falls away from you as you turn in. Something to get used to. And when you go through there, turn 1 on lap 1, there is one you want to stay out of trouble. a driver run wide. Have a bad start to their race on the outside of that corner. Track just gets too crowded. Shouldn't have any issues today with just the 9 drivers in the field. Should be pretty simple to get through turn 1. Last night we had 16 or 17 drivers. A little bit more complicated to get through turn 1 when you have a field that size. And of course we could potentially have a race with no safety cars because there's so little cars to have incidents. So there's Logic and one of the 2 Alpines. Of course, confirmation that Charles Leclerc going to Williams, not Charles Leclerc, good with me, Carlos Sainz going to Williams next year. Means there is still this available Alpine seat. Some say Jack Doohan, some say Mick Schumacher is part of that Alpine endurance program. First laps are in. These are just the initial runs. A lot of fast drivers in tier 1, and they don't usually show their cards right up front. Evening Maggot. Immediately into the predictions. Logic for the win. It's going to be up to everybody else to make sure Logic isn't able to disappear up the road. To everyone already in the comments section. Pantry Star, Panda, Death Queen, Tiag, Maggot. I'm pretty sure Skull's here too. The Spikes. I think we'll see him peeling off into the pits, will we? Yes, into the pits. This is Andre going over the line. His lap time 29.6, good enough for P6. He's out on another run but using the same set of tyres. Cheddar into provisional pole and first driver into the 27s. And even in a short quali session, this track feels very quiet. Of course, everybody knowing they're going to start within the top 10, everybody's just going to take the session a little bit more relaxed. You may even see a little bit more sandbagging than usual on these first runs. Just got the 1 driver in the 27s, and I suspect we're going to have more than that in the next 10 minutes. Pantry Star saying it's going to be Cheddar. Maggot saying Logic. A lot of things can still happen in this race. It's not going to be as simple as starting from the front and going all the way to the checkered flag. This is Suzuka. It's a track that you need to be brave in these high-speed corners in order to set good lap times. Having said that, you can't just throw the car around. You need to respect this circuit. There's parts of this circuit it'll spit you right out. Of course, this is one of the tracks that's been on the calendar ever since I've been watching F1. To my knowledge, the only thing that's been modified slightly is that final chicane onto the main straight. And of course the pit entry. The pit entry used to be ridiculous. will go on board now with Virus at the start of another run. His first run was a 29.1. Currently down in P6. Even the worst lap time on the evening is going to get you on the 5th row of the grid. So anyone really at the start of the race can make a big difference. Can always start in pole and quickly get swallowed up if you get turn 1 wrong. Find yourself too wide. This is now, it's Ferrari, one of the 2 RBs, his teammate also out on a quick lap. This would be the night to propel your Constructors' Championship position. It's a good chance for the RBs, it's a good chance for the Aston Martins. It's the only 2 teams with both their drivers on the evening. Everybody else missing a teammate and no Red Bull to be found. Cheddar, currently provisional pole, only driver in the 27s on an outlap, looking to improve. Logic, looking to find a little something more. Logic really pushing, but that battery dangerously low. See what he can come up with. Last lap time was a 28.2. Ooh, and he just gets it sideways there on the exit. Don't know if that was a lap, but he's dived into the pits. I think it may have been a lap on used tires. He's given up on that, but that was a big lockup. Some drifting on F124. This is its Ferrari, 128.7, good enough for P3. His teammate down in P6 and in the pits. Then Andre, the 2 Aston Martins, currently at 29.6. Then Andres, he just stepped into the car pretty much last minute. Correct in saying this is a debut in the season. Currently running in P9, rear field 130.1. I think with every lap he spends out there, lap times will just start to come down. Maybe just a little bit of rustiness. Something in the car just before. Never easy. This is Cheddar. Battery is discharged. I wonder if we're going to see him dive into the pits or set the lap time. These are a new set of tyres. He is going to go over the line. Let's see if there's an improvement. There's an improvement. Not a big improvement. It's 27.6. Move the goalposts even further. Logic will be sitting in the pits. He would have seen that lap time. It's Ferrari also in the pits. All of the drivers there trying to take pole position away there in the top 5. They would have seen that. And there would have been a collective sigh in the pit garage as he just went and took another 2/10 out of what was a sizable lead. Virus in the pits, Thiago Maestro on his way into the pits. This is Andres. Remember, current best of 130.1. I think this will be his second attempt now. Going into the chicane, takes the bollard on the inside. Got to be so careful not to invalidate the lap. And he's coming to the pits. Still had battery charge there. And he's getting it wrong on the way in. should still have time to get out for another run. Can't see the timer because of the yellow flag. There we go, 4 minutes to go, so should still be able to go on another set, get back out there again. This Cheddar comes into the pits. Now we have almost the entire field sitting in the pits with just a 3.5 minutes to go. Mr. Rem is out on track, Virus is out on track, the only two drivers out there, they're on outlaps. Watching Mr. Rem and Virus, so Mr. Rem just trying to get some heat into those tyres. So close between the Aston Martins, hadn't noticed that till then. 29.063, 29.084, 19 hundredths of a second. Rather 19 thousandths of a second between the two. Very close between the teammates. It's Ferrari on an outlap. Mr. Rem the only driver on a quick lap. So let's ride with the Aston Martin. Looking for an improvement on a 29.0, looking to get himself into the 28s. Can find 2 tenths, he'll go into P4. 3 tenths, he'll go into P3. But if he wants to get himself up onto the front row, he's going to have to find himself a whole lot more than that. And Mr. M, not enjoying my commentary. If you were listening to me, sorry about that. Now it's time for Spikes. Spikes currently in P4, he's on an outlap, 28.8. It's Ferrari starting his final run. I don't think he's going to be able to get in and out again, just 2 minutes in the session. So whoever's out there, this will be your final run, and if you're in the pits, you need to get out there pretty quick. Luckily for everyone in the field, just the 9 drivers, don't have to worry too much about traffic. Everybody should be able to spread themselves out. This is it's Ferrari, looking for any time he can find. Hopefully he's left the best for last. Does find a 10.5 in the first sector. There is always so much time to be found around this circuit. The problem is stitching the perfect lap together. As he approaches the end of sector 2, saw him make a 10.5. The end of sector 1, is there going to be another improvement? We've got a caution flashing on the screen. Somebody's off the track and somebody's going very slowly. He's found another 2 tenths. Let's see what it'll be over the line. Got to be careful there over the chicane. Don't want to invalidate the lap, especially at such a late point in the lap. He goes up into the 28s. It's a 28.5. Does go P3. Can't take the extra step to the front row. I said it would be a big step, but good evening so far for the RB team, covering that second row. This is Spikes in the Ferrari. Mr. Rem, Andre. And of course, your provisional pole sitter. He starts one more lap, maybe just wanting to rub some salt into the wounds. Will he move that goalpost even further? I don't think he needs to, but he's going to try anyway. This is Cheddar in the Mercedes. He's just a little over his time and looking for that something extra. Took a little too far. Cheddar goes sideways. And that's the end of his qualifying session, but he's got a lap time he can be proud of. Looks like he should start on pole position, unless it's Ferrari's got anything to say about it. Heads off into that final chicane. Don't think he got the optimal line he was looking for, but he dives into the pits. Then Andre, he's not diving into the pits, he's going around one more time. It's over the line. Just behind his teammate. That's where he stays. We do have one more driver out there. It's the Williams. Williams of Tiago Maestro, currently in P8. Best time of a 129.1. Haven't been following the laps, so we don't know if he's been improving, but we'll find out when he goes over the line. And I don't think he's going to be improving because he's missing an end plate. As a result, dives into the pits, and I believe that is your quali session. Of course, just the one qualifying session, so now we're going to head off straight into the race. There are your results for qualifying. Just the 9 drivers. Cheddar takes pole position with a 127.6 and ended up being the only driver in the 27s in qualifying. He's followed by Logic on the front row. Then it's an all RB second row with Farie and Virus. Then Spikes P5, Mr. M P6. Then we've got Andre, Tiago Maestro, and Andres. This pause is taking a little longer than usual. Of course, while we wait to get underway, when the screen does eventually change, we will be looking at an empty pit lane. As drivers will do their final touch-ups to their strategies. This is a very long pause. Hope the lobby is okay. There we go. We're back. Screen did eventually change. Like I said, we're looking at an empty pit lane, a vacant pit lane. That's because everybody is to the right of us on the track. Right now they'll be doing their final touch-ups, their final adjustments. Of course, not much you can do to the setup. We are locked under Park Firm A, so the moment you leave the pits in qualifying, that's the setup you're going to have to deal with for the rest of the evening. A few minor things you can change. A lot of guys will have thought of their setup a long time ago. They won't be changing anything there. The only thing to do is decide what tires you're going to start on. What strategy are you going to take? Do you anticipate safety cars under fuel? Maybe that's not going to be the case this evening because we've got a rather small field. There we go. should get the dual green lights. We do get the dual green lights. That means we'll get a formation lap. Opportunity for everybody to get around one more time, have one more look at the circuit, feel the car with a full tank of fuel. Of course, it will feel very different from what they had in qualifying. Guys will strip that fuel tank bare for qualifying, getting every last gram out of that car. Saw Andre leaving the session. He has joined the session. And so long as his ghost car is out there on track, he should be able to reclaim control of that car. And there it is. There is the ghost car. So he should be able to take control of that car, if not now, at the end of the formation lap. That means we should start with full 9 runners we had in quali. This is Cheddar. He's out front. Got a bit of a gap. Doesn't want to build too much of a gap. Sit in that grid box, letting your tires cool down. The nature of turn 1 here in Japan. It's not one you want to go into with ice cold tires that aren't working. Something that could be interesting, especially in such a small field, is are we going to see any crazy risks on the tires? Thought I might see someone at the rear starting on the softs trying to come through the field. There's going to be none of that. It looks like the entire field is starting on the medium tire, with the exception of SAFRL and Tiago Maestro, those two drivers. One in P3, the other one in P8. They've chosen to go on the hard compound, looking to go a little further than everybody else. But no soft runners in the field, so everyone we see should have a set of tires to take them quite far into the race. Hopefully we don't see anyone in the pits at the end of lap 1. There we go, there's your red lights, a little quicker than they are usually. But 5 red lights, and when they go out we'll be underway, and we are underway. It's Mercedes-Benz versus an Alpine. That's a sentence you're not going to hear too often. And they're going to go through turn 1 line astern. Doesn't seem like we have any drama. There are a few lockups at the back there. Doesn't seem like anything too serious. That is Mr. M at the rear of the field. Andres didn't have the qualifying session he would have wanted, but now the race is a different story. Spikes in P5. It's a lockups in the field. Virus P4. It's SAFRL, so the RBs, they took up that second row in qualifying. They're still P3 and P4. Then Logic has already broken away from those RBs slightly, breaking DRS before DRS becomes available. Out front though, Cheddar versus Logic, Mercedes versus Alpine. Very strong rumours among the paddock that Alpine could drop its full manufacturer status and take on the Mercedes power unit. Would definitely be an advantage to the Alpine team not to have the slowest engine and heaviest engine in F1. But it would be the end of an era, not seeing any form of Renault manufacturer or engine in the sport. Of course, Renault briefly left the sport at the end of 1997, at a time when they were a very successful engine manufacturer. They then returned as a full manufacturer buying the Benetton team, and won 2 championships with Fernando Alonso, back to back. Those were also Fernando Alonso's only 2 championships. That team has had many, many names. It was Benetton, then it became Renault. You know, I can't even remember the order. It was Benetton, then it became Renault. And then I think it became Lotus, then it became Renault, and then it became Alpine. And who knows what it will be next. Cheddar versus Logic, side by side. Logic coming out on front, these two having a little bit of fun. They're 2.7 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, trading places, going wheel to wheel, having what seems like a private practice session. The RBs, they're doing a good job, need to just stay as close as they can. Of course, if those two have any sort of collision while having their fun and games, then you need to be as close as possible to pick up the pieces when your opponents drop the ball. It's Ferrari staying just behind his teammate. Then Spikes, the one and only Ferrari here this evening, currently in P5. He's get himself in between those Red Bulls. They've been inseparable, they've been in P3 and 4. Most of qualifying they started in those positions and they're still in those positions. But now Spikes just getting it sideways on the exit of Spoon. Just getting a little greedy on the throttle, wanted to get as close to those RBs as possible. It just landed up costing him momentum, got some tyres on the grass. Luckily for him, Thiago Maestro was far enough behind for him not to lose a position. Logic sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:31.4. This is Mr. Rem in P7, and he's coming under all sorts of pressure. Andres just behind him. Let's ride on board with the McLaren driver. Andres into turn 1, following the Aston Martin closely. The Aston Martin following a Williams closely, so we have a trail here of 4 cars. This is Andre. Remember, he got thrown out of the session just before the race. Car ghosted for a while, then he took control of the car. So he is starting from the rear of the field. Thiago Maestro, he went very wide. I'm not sure if that was due to contact. We weren't able to see it from the cockpit of Andre's car. We just saw the Williams going very wide. And that means now Andres P7, Andre P8, and Thiago Maestro is now the car that makes up the rear of the field. It's not really where he wants to be on the hard tyre. Got quite a few people watching, not a lot of people talking. Let me know if you're here. Say something in the comment section. What do you guys think? This is a close race. Might not be a close race in the timing sheets, but here between the top two, Cheddar and Logic, how much longer can they keep this going? It's a 27 lap race. Thiago Maestro already making up a little bit of ground on what he lost, and as I mention his name, I don't think he likes it when I mention his name. Mr. M into the pits. Wonder if he's got some sort of damage here, so you can just see the wing coming off. So Mr. M, early damage in the race. It's not what you want, especially in such a small field. The likelihood of safety cars just goes down so much. You make that early pit stop, you find yourself 20 seconds behind the field. It can be quite demotivating. Nothing demotivating, these two. Cheddar versus Logic. How many times have I said it this evening? 0.2 of a second between the two. It's lap 5. And they can't be separated. They're just trading places, trading lap times. A little further back. Virus. still followed by his teammate. His teammate's been able to shake off that Ferrari, so the RB is running comfortably. Of course, they'll be in communication with each other, I'm almost certain. If one of them was way quicker or on a different strategy, I'm so sure we'd see a switch, but no switch for the time being. And as I say that, there's a switch. It's Ferrari, goes past Virus. Looks like those two cars are on different strategies, because it's Ferrari's on a set of hards. Everyone else on a set of mediums, with the exception of Tiago Maestro and Mr. Rem, who's already made a pit stop. Logic out front. This is probably the biggest we've seen the gap so far. 7/10 of a second between the Alpine and the Mercedes. It's Ferrari in P3. And somewhere along the line he's dropped off his teammate. Spike's now up into P4. Virus down in P5. Wonder if he just made a mistake, got off circuit. So easy to lose momentum here. Not a lot of tarmac runoff, lots of grass on the outside of the circuit, so even if you do avoid the gravel, tires get really cold. They don't like that. It takes a while to get them back up to temperature, get them clean again. So for that first half a lap, sort of got to be on your toes. Logic P1, Cheddar P2. Now it's Ferrari in P3. Gap between him and the leaders, 4.4 seconds. He'll be hoping that those two continue trading places. And maybe just graze each other a little bit. 4.2 seconds that gap, a lot of time to make up. Star saying Ferrari will be joining them shortly. Still got 4.3 seconds to find. Of course, very early stages in the race. We haven't even seen the pit window. Mr. Rem on new hards because he made that pit stop for a broken wing. Tiago Maestro on hards. He started on those hards, but he's at the rear of the field in P8. And then the other hard runner, it's Ferrari, 4.5 seconds. Now remember, at this point in the race, he should have the slower of the two tyres. As the race goes on, those mediums will fall off. The hard tyre will naturally go a little longer. Then he'll pit later than everybody else. And he'll come out on the faster tyre that everyone is using right now. So he'll have the lighter car and the faster tyre to everyone around him. That could be vital at the end of the race. If he's able to stay in touch with these guys when he should have a disadvantage on the tyre, then what will he be able to do when he has an advantage on that tyre? Spikes in P4. It's all over the back of the RB. Then he made a mistake, fell back. Then the RB made a mistake and fell behind Spikes. So Spikes is in P4. Seems like a comfortable P4 for now. Can't do much about his Ferrari. Its Ferrari hasn't been able to close that gap to the leaders, but he has maintained it. It stayed within the 4.2, 4.4 seconds for the past few laps now, which means he's able to stay with the medium runners. Those mediums will begin to fall off, probably around lap 11, lap 12. Drivers will be thinking of coming in on those mediums. Its Ferrari will obviously take it a little further. Cheddar and Logic trading places yet again. This time it's the Mercedes that leads the way into turn 1. I've seen sometimes in the past when these cars are so evenly matched and they're trading places, it can really come down to who has DRS on that final lap. Got to think about things like your battery management. Can't just use all of it just to try and stay in front. You've got to be smart about it. If you can't stay there in front, you've got to sort of even give up the position, get in DRS and take it back. You've got to have that battery management once the battery hits 0. You don't have much left to rely on, especially if you're the driver at the front. You know, like speaking about battery management, and look at these two. I don't usually mention the battery levels on the stream, but yeah, they're pretty much both in the high 90s, so I think it's pretty safe to say they're not even using their battery. Two at the front, having a little bit of fun. As for its Free, just falling a little further back now, 4.7 seconds. We'll be hoping to start seeing a reverse. Start seeing that time coming down. That means the mediums will be falling off. He has cleared Spikes. The gap down to Spikes 6 seconds. So he is getting away from the car behind him, but he's not able to make up ground on the car ahead of him. Have a flashing caution. We look to the track map, don't see anybody stationary. I think there might be a Mercedes that was going slowly. It's not a Mercedes. I don't know who it was. It was a blue car that was going slowly. Just triggered the yellow flag. Cheddar still out front, gap 0.4 of a second. These two have been so close that when you see a gap of 0.4 of a second, it looks pretty far. Cheddar just not getting the optimal exit there. Car just jerking. Such an important corner is Spoon, because if you get it wrong, it means that driver behind you is going to be making up ground all the way up the straight, and then onto the main straight. He's going to get DRS. If he's close enough, doesn't have to do anything too brave, he'll be able to get there before the corner. Not this time around, just stays behind the Mercedes. Of course, not doing anything too desperate at this point in the race. They're matching each other on pace. They're on the same strategy. They want to get through the pit window. After that pit window, we may see some battling. But for the time being, I think both of them have been at the front, and they both know they can't shake off the other. Just race intelligently, follow each other until the latter stages of the race. When the weapons come out, it's Free in P3. Virus has managed to get himself back into P4. I think Spikes has made another mistake. No damage on the car though. Then Andre looked like he was going to have a lot of bad luck at the start of the night, was able to reclaim that car, and he's in P6. I said we wouldn't have any this evening. I didn't say we wouldn't have any this evening. I said it was less likely that we would have any this evening, but we have lost a driver from the field of 9. That means we're down to just the 8 drivers. Thiago Maestro becomes the first retirement on the evening, gives us our first safety car of the evening, and that has shaken up the strategies. Apologies for the silence, I didn't know I was on mute. Luckily, I'm back for the restart. So there we go, Cheddar leads the way from Logic. What this has done is it's changed up the race incredibly. Remember, it's Free would have been wanting to go a little deeper into the race than those two ahead of him. Now they've all made their pit stops. So there will be no undercut, there will be no overcut. He's going to have to do this on the race circuit. Right now he should have a slight tyre advantage. He's going to be able to get tyre temperature into those mediums quicker than everybody else around him on the hard tyre. And he should have a tyre grip advantage at least in the early stages of this stint. So this is the time he needs to stay with Cheddar and Logic. This is the time he needs to challenge them for the lead while he has the tools to do so. When those mediums do start to drop off, everyone around him is going to be on the better tyre. I say, well, I was talking to myself because I was on mute, so let me ask the question again. Panda, Pantry Star, Maggot, you guys spend a lot of time out on track, let me know. Do you think the guys that pit under the safety car for mediums, do you think those mediums are going to be in good shape at the end of the race? Is there going to have to be some form of tyre management, or will the mediums make it easily to the end of the race? We're just over halfway distance and DRS has been enabled for the second time in this race. Of course, we had that one breakage in the race, just the one safety car, but the safety car has changed everything. Everybody who was going along with their initial strategy has had to shake things up. Everybody into the pits. Cars that were about to go into the pits anyway, and cars that had no intention in pitting probably for the next 3 or 4 laps. So I wonder if it's Faris just going to be at a slight disadvantage. So Maggot saying 3 or 4 laps to go, tyres should fall off. Predict here on the medium, maybe 10-11 laps, then the tyre really starts to slide around, especially in the corner that Virus is approaching now. If your tyres are just slipping around and you're not able to get the traction right here, guys just swallow you up. If they don't swallow you up here, they're going to swallow you up onto the main straight. Not much you can do at that point. They just open up DRS and fly past you. This is the sole Ferrari of spikes. You see what I mean right now. If it gets close to the RB, it's now going to go over the DRS line. You're going to see that wing open up. That's going to give him an advantage. A little less drag on the rear wing. All of a sudden you find yourself flying past. Very frustrating for the driver who's trying to defend. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Of course, in 2026, DRS is going to look somewhat different. You'll have a form of DRS on the front. Well, you're basically going to have active aerodynamics. So you're going to have a wing that adjusts itself when you're on a straight. But unfortunately for everyone who loves quick racing cars, in 2026 it is predicted that these lap times are going to get slower by about 10 seconds. Mr. Rem in P8, Andres P7, started in P9. He's had a solid race. Made a few mistakes in qualifying. Haven't really seen him make any mistakes in the race. So he's doing a good job for now. Andre P8 at the rear of the field. I think he may have had an incident after the safety car because he's made another pit stop. 30 seconds. away from the field. Now these two getting so close, almost looked like there was contact with the Mercedes, but looks like all of that front wing is in place. So now to the car we were looking at just a moment ago. This is Cheddar in P2. Spent most of the race either in P2 or P1, but now he's got a little bit of pressure. Pressure coming from the RB. Ferrari will have the tyre advantage at this stage. He has shaken off the Ferrari, so he doesn't need to worry about his mirrors. Just needs to worry about these two ahead of him. And the more they scrap, the more he'll be having in his mind. Make contact. Make contact. Back to Virus in P5. He was running behind his teammate for a very long time, then just a couple of mistakes, but now he's back with his old foe, his old rival that he's had so far in this race. Keeps on magnetizing back to the Ferrari somehow. It's Spikes versus Virus, P4 and 5. Then Mr. M in the Aston Martin, first of the two Aston Martins. Well, I was about to commentate on the pass, and good thing I didn't. Virus makes an error. Don't know if that was contact or if that was a mistake. But that means Virus goes all the way down to P7 and he's off the circuit again. He's off the circuit again, and that's what happens. Sometimes you just lose momentum. The tires get dirty. You want to get on with it. You see that gap increasing. You just want to get on with it. Get back up to the rear of the field. Get too happy on the accelerator. And you forget your tires are full of grass. You'll end up going off another 2 or 3 times before you get going. Of course, when you make a mistake, first goal is stay out of a wall, don't get any damage. But then the next thing is keep a cool head. When you get angry, drive in anger, make the silliest of mistakes. Cheddar still out front, gap 0.5 of a second. Then a further 0.5 of a second down to It's Ferrari. These three in a race of their own. But It's Ferrari will know those tyres are going to drop off. So if he's going to do something to get himself amongst the top 2, now is the time. Time is ticking. Back at the front, no change. Mercedes versus Alpine. RB still holding on to the two of them, 0.4 of a second. Suzuka, not one of the widest circuits on the F1 calendar. So if the two cars ahead of you are constantly going side by side, you just have to sit there and figure out, where am I going to make this overtake? And more importantly, where am I supposed to put this car? We have a caution flashing. Hopefully that's all it is. It's lap 19 of 27 and there it goes. So we're back underway. Cheddar versus Logic. It's Ferrari still in P3. Now Mr. Rem in P4. It's ahead of Spikes. And then Virus. Of course, every driver who gets to the checkered flag is going to get some points this evening. Just 8 runners left in the field. We just started with the 9. Lots of drivers missing out in Tier 1 this week. Cheddar leads the way. Logic P2. It's Ferrari still holding on, but for how much longer? Because those mediums have to start going south pretty soon, probably in the next 2 laps or so. He'll know that, he'll have it in the back of his mind. He'll be wondering if he's just left it a little too late. Mr. Rem also on a set of mediums. Just 1 lap fresher than It's Ferrari. He's got Spikes pretty close to him on a set of hards. More of the same for Mr. M when those mediums fall off. Spike should be able to come back at him. Fortunately for Virus, 5.5 seconds down the road. I think he's going to just be able to rely on the mediums ahead of him falling off. He's going to have to do a lot of work out there on track under his P7. Now running a slightly lonely race. He was in a DRS battle for an awfully long time. And then Andre in a race of his own. But he knows it's worth bringing this car home. It's all about the points on a night like this. Lap 21 of 27. And Cheddar. Logic. It's free. Very close together. Less than a second. Just over half a second covered those three cars into turn 1. Somehow, no side-by-side action. Everybody just holding firm for now. But Free won't be wanting to be holding firm. He'll be wanting to get in and amongst those battles, get himself up into the front, try utilize what's left of these mediums. But I think already 9 laps, is it 9 or 8 laps? 9 laps on those mediums. I think he's just going to start going off the wrong side of the cliff anytime soon. Still 7/10, so he's still holding on to the 2 in front of him, still within DRS. That'll be crucial at this stage of the race, because if he is on the weaker tyre, one thing that can still help him is that DRS boost. Once you lose that, you don't have much more to play with. Right on board with the driver in P3, it's Free. Got a good view of the 2 in front of him. He'd probably like to be a little closer to those 2 as he heads off into turn 1. They're so close together, it looks like he's got 1 car ahead of him, but nope, there's Cheddar. Cheddar leads from Logic. Free still P3. Looking for a battle on track other than the battle for the lead. Mr. M battling for P4. That's Spikes and Mr. M. No other battles on track to speak of except for the battle for the lead. Cheddar versus Logic. It's Free, 7/10 a grip from those 2. While in the beginning of the race it looked like they were having a little bit of fun. Now the lockups are starting to come out. Guys are pushing. These 2 are definitely not teammates, so it will be a race to the end. Pantry Star just saying the mediums are holding up. They are definitely holding up. He's still within half a second of those 2 ahead of him. He's still got a few laps to go. And surely with maybe on the last lap, maybe on the second last lap, he's going to start feeling the effects. But I think what's also neutralizing the effect is that he's been able to stay within DRS. Every now and then he's just going to get that boost. He's going to be able to come back onto the diffuser of Logic. It's actually the closest he's been in a while. It would take something impressive to get out ahead of these 2 and stay out ahead of these 2 when the tyres do inevitably fall off. Of course, usually after the race ends, a lot of the viewers just leave. So before any of you just leave, let me just take this opportunity to mention, for the next 3 weeks there will be a stream on this channel on Tuesday nights. Usually we have the night off on Tuesday nights, but for the next 3 weeks we will have a race on Tuesday nights. It's going to be something a little different. 3 of the leagues I commentate on this channel, plus another 2 5 leagues, 4 drivers from each, competing in the league versus league championship. It's just going to be 3 rounds. And obviously 4 of the best drivers from each league, those leagues. This one here, SAFRL. We also have DRS, SKR, JPR and LSA. It's going to be a busy grid. Just the 8 drivers here at the moment, but expect a very full grid for tomorrow night's race. It's free. Still in P3, still holding on a lot longer than I thought he would. Get a good helicopter shot of the Alpine just locking up. Just getting as close as he can now. Now it's the Mercedes locking up into the hairpin. These guys are pushing, and as they push each other, it just helps its free just to stay within DRS. See, the other medium runners are starting to go backwards, so I think it's definitely the DRS that's helping him out. A combination of the DRS as well as the 2 drivers ahead of him, really both wanting this win. They are putting pressure on each other, and all the while it's Ferrari is just sitting there waiting for any sort of a mistake, any sort of a gap that presents itself. Of course, if those 2 do tragically make contact, wants to be close enough to take advantage. Look at this, it almost looked like he was going to go past the 2 of them. Looked like he was going to get very brave on the brakes, backed out of it at the last second, but you saw the nose, you saw which way the nose was pointing. And just for a second, I thought we were going to see the unthinkable. Would have been an impressive pass, and it would have been even more impressive if he got it stopped on the exit. But it's Ferrari, found his sensibilities, decided that was not the way to do it, tucked in behind the Alpine, and actually lost a bit of momentum by doing that. It would have been a spectacular pass if he had committed to it and actually pulled it off, but I think there was just way too much risk. Imagine taking out the top 3 cars in a race with just 8 drivers. They almost handed the race to Spikes. So Cheddar leads from Logic. It's Ferrari in P3. It's a good place for him to be, because I just realised it rhymes. It's Ferrari is in P3. That works. You'd rather be in P1 though. Gap between the top 3, just 1 second. With 2 laps to go in the race. Still anything could happen. Remember, this is Suzuka. It's a technical circuit. Doesn't matter how many laps you've done around here. Just the slightest mistake at the wrong part of the circuit, you're not going to get a second opportunity. Lap 26 of 27. Race is coming to an end. Fairly clean race, just the 1 safety car. Around about lap 10, I think it was. Everybody came in, made a pit stop, brought the field back together. The field has since spread apart. Some of those guys have come in for extra pit stops. They've had wing damage. So it's been clean out front. It's been a little messier for the guys in the midfield. Luckily just the 1 retirement. That means everyone's going home with points. I say they're going home with points. That's more of just a phrase, because I assume all these drivers are at home. If not, well, you're sitting in your yard, in your rig. Don't imagine that is the case. I'm just used to saying They won't go home empty-handed, but they are at home. Logic gets ahead of Cheddar on the final lap. Don't think it's free, can do too much about it now. He's 7/10 adrift. Surely Cheddar's going to come back at Logic, but where's he going to do it? There's still a few more opportunities for him. Needs to apply the pressure on the Alpine. Hope he makes a mistake into that hairpin. Got to be as close as you can. Make it a traction race on the exit of the hairpin. That's going to be a good opportunity. The Alpine just parks that car and then comes back, blocks the path of the Mercedes. And he's doing everything he needs to do for right now, but it's going to be a long straight that comes after Spoon. And he's going to have to do something pretty impressive to keep that Mercedes behind him. Of course, he could get really close, pull something crazy, and then the last resort would be into the chicane. Nothing there. Will it be in the chicane? Will it be a repeat of 1989? Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost? No, it won't be. Logic gets through the corner. Not so much for Cheddar. He will come over the line in P2. Fantastic race between those two. It's Ferrari did a fantastic job to hold on to the mediums. He comes over the line in P3. We will have 8 finishes, no penalties, and just the one safety car. There's a bit of a gap, but eventually Spikes comes around the corner to finish in P4. He's just ahead of Mr. Rem. Virus has also taken the checkered flag. We're just waiting for the two drivers, starting with the letter A. Andres in P7, then Andre will follow in P8. Now ride with Andres. He's coming to the end of his race. 27 laps. It's the driver who's making his first appearance. He'll only be getting quicker as the season goes on. Last man out on track. Well, he's not the last man out on track. I think that car ghosting. No, it's not. It's just very, very broken. That's half an Aston Martin. Absolutely no front wing to speak of. Andre crawls over the line, brings the Aston Martin home. He's going to get points anyway. For a second I thought he ran out of fuel, but he gets over the line as slowly as he possibly can. Finishes in P7, and that was the Japanese round of Tier 1, Season 8. Apologies for the muting, but F1 copyrights anything, even their own game. So, quick view of the podium, and there are your official results. Logic takes the victory. He was out front throughout the race. Then it's, well, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with this list, but Logic P1, Isfari P2, Spikes P3, Mr. Rem P4, Virus P5, Andres P6, Andre P7, and for some reason it's showing Cheddar in P8, but I'm sure I'll get some sort of explanation for that, either in the comms box after the race or on Discord. Of course, now if you're in the top 3 or if you're driver of the day, you're invited to the cool down room on the NFR server. I'll then bring you into the comms box. Just make sure I'm not muted again. No, I'm not. There we go. Let's see if anybody is in that cool down room. You can just bring them in here, have a little chat about the race. And yes, we have a populated cool down room. Mr. M in the cool down room, as is it's Free. Gonna bring those drivers in now. And then obviously if anybody else joins, we can bring them in. Hi guys, can you guys hear
Hello,
me?
hello. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, great stuff. It's Faree. We'll start with you. Did you guys see the results? Let me ask you about the results. On my screen, it was showing Cheddar finished in P8. Was there a penalty I missed, or was that the game just being the game?
I think he might have left the lobby before the last car passed the start finish.
Oh, I see. I see. Because yeah, it showed it showed him in P8. Um,
Yeah.
so it's Faree. At the end there, I thought you were going to run out of tire. You actually stayed with those two. You stayed within DRS throughout. Did you think the tire was going away? Was it going away, or did it
Um,
surprise you?
it did surprise me a bit at the end, but I knew they were saving batteries. So the last lap, I don't know if you saw, but they pulled a bit of a gap, and I tried to stay with them. But yeah, the tires were dead at the end.
And then, Mr. M, tell us a little bit about your race. What what transpired for you? Did the safety car work out for you, or did it mess up your initial strategy?
Um, my first, yeah, the first corner I got some damage. The front wing and the race went a bit downhill from there. And then I had to pit early for hards. And then luckily the safety car came out and I stayed out the extra lap and then went to pit for mediums to give myself a better chance on the mediums. And from there it went well. Me and Spikes had quite a good fight. But I fell for his trick. He let me pass the penultimate lap. So, but that's okay. We had a good battle.
Of course, tomorrow night we start the league versus league. It's going to be on this channel. Are any of you guys participating tomorrow night?
Yes,
And for who? For SAFRL?
we both driving for SAFRL. And yeah, Vegas, here we come.
That's right. Tomorrow we go to Vegas. It's a good thing you reminded me it's Vegas because I made a whole thumbnail for Miami. So
Yeah.
good thing I didn't put that up yet. And yeah, so we're going to be back. I'm just going to end the stream. You guys can stay here for another minute or two. But to everyone who watched, we had a few viewers going for a while. So if it's your first visit to the channel, remember to subscribe. Remember to leave a like on the video. And we're going to be back tomorrow night. Should be a full field of 20 drivers, 5 leagues on one night. Hope to see you there. If not, see you for SAFRL Tier 2 on Wednesday. Till then, cheers. And it's gone.